Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another TBR video. I feel as though it's been quite a long time since I filmed one of these blindly choosing my TBR videos. Recently I've been using the TBR jar, which is so much fun. But you know, I was kind of in the mood to like not have any say in my TBR. Of course I have a say in the way that I know what the books are in here, but I don't have a say in the way that I have no idea which 8 or 9 books are gonna get picked out of these 31 books. So I think this will be a lot more fun, and I think without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Right, so I've got my number wheel picker here. I've got 31 books, 31 numbers here, and let's spin. Number 19 is our first book. Guys, this is so exciting. I forgot how much fun this is. Fantastic! I was actually craving a book like this. So the first book we have is Talking at Night by Claire Deverley. This is a lit fic, and it's about these two people who met when they were teenagers, Will and Rosie, I believe. Yeah, so Will and Rosie meet as teenagers. They're opposites in every way. She overthinks everything. He is her twin brother's best friend. Interesting. But they have these secret walks home from school and late night phone calls. They become closer and closer, destined to be each other's great love story, until one day tragedy strikes and their future together is shattered. But as the years roll on, Will and Rosie can't help but find their way back to each other. Time and time again, they come close to rekindling what might have been. And the blurb on the back says, "What do you do when the one person you should forget is the one you can't let go?" So from the back of it, this reads like a romance. So this is a literary fiction, obviously based on these two people and their love story and the connection that they form. But it doesn't read like a romance, which is the reason why I really like lit fics, because I love to read about love and dynamics within relationships, whether that's like friendships or romantic. But I don't always like the way that romance books read. Like, I think because, you know, there's always like, you know, a third act breakup or there's some sort of problem and then it's gonna get resolved at the end. Like, it's kind of predictable. But I like these books because I don't find them predictable and you don't know what's gonna happen at the end. And I like the way it really closely dissects dynamics between these two people, and it just feels so much more raw and real and relatable, which is why I really like them as well. So yeah, this is gonna be the first book we have in August and I'm so excited. Let's choose our second book. Number 26. I have bought like quite a few books recently. My most recent video is a book haul, so I have fears that like it's gonna be all just the new books getting picked out, because that was one of the new books I got, and I'll feel very bad for my older books if that happens. Okay, I actually need to read this book. We do have Light Lark by Alex Astor. This is a book that I've heard such mixed reviews on. Like, I feel like people either really love it or a lot of people find it too obvious and they say that it's really taken too much inspiration from other fantasy romances. It's so hard not to do that in this day because, like I've always said, everything's been done. At least it feels like everything's already been done in the fantasy romance world, so it's hard to bring forward like new ideas. But I have been really looking forward to this one. And also, everyone tells me that there's a love triangle in this series. I don't know why, guys. Maybe I'm toxic, but I love a love triangle. There's something about it. It adds to the plot for me, especially if the love triangle is done well. I don't like when it's a very obvious choice. You know what I mean? Like the other person's just there for the sake of the love triangle trope. I like when it's actually done well and you're like, who is it gonna be? And it makes me also keep changing. You know what I mean? It's not like The Summer I Turned Pretty where it's so obviously Conrad. I love a love triangle where it's hard and I don't know who to choose for her. So in this one, every 100 years, the island of Light Lark appears for 100 days to host a deadly game. And in this deadly game, the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide, each curse is uniquely wicked, and to break them and save themselves and their realm, one ruler must die. It sounds good to me. And I think it's a fast-paced book, and I think I actually really need a fast-paced book because I fear that a reading slump is coming for me. I don't know why, I feel it. So hopefully these books can help me not feel like that. Right, let's choose our third book. Number 7. A lot of them look so similar, I really couldn't even predict what this book will be. I don't know if you guys can hear that, by the way. It is so rainy and so windy outside, and I'm loving it. So cozy. I think I'm gonna make a coffee after I film this video and do some reading. This one's actually more exciting. I do really want to read this series, and I don't know why it's looking like I'm not excited, but I'm so excited. We have The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I think the only reason there was like some hesitation in my reaction is I just fear that I'm gonna get so many series, like so many fantasy romance series in my TBR, and it overwhelms me because I'm like, oh my god, I'm starting so many series. But this one sounds so good, and I've heard such good things about this one. It is a YA. It's not romantasy. I feel like it's dystopian. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is a dystopian series. And honestly, bring back dystopian things. That sounds very exciting. The description of the book is way too long. I don't even think I'm going to read that. I think I'm going to go into it relatively blind. I have read the description of this book before, so I kind of know. I know that the main girl works as a prison healer. By the name of the book. Cooper, you okay? Come here, baby. Come here. Hey, come say hi. Hello. Hello. Yeah, that's sort of all I know about it. I believe it's a trilogy. There's only 3 books. And, you know, I really do love me a YA series. I don't know why. I find them a lot more fast-paced, and I just find them really fun, and I also feel like I just sort of throw myself in them a lot easier. I am really looking forward to reading the series. I don't know which one to read first. I feel overwhelmed, like, but excited, but what do I choose first? Right, let's choose our 4th book. This one feels a bit more chunky. I'm just trying to guess what they are. Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, maybe? Guys, I'm so smart. Like, the way I was able to figure out it's this book from like the thickness of it. So we have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have been wanting to read this book for a long time, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been slightly intimidated by starting the series, purely because even though I do read like fantasy, I read fantasy romance, so to read something more high fantasy, you know what I mean, like I feel like this is proper fantasy. I don't know, it just seems a little bit like, not out of my comfort zone, but I almost fear that I'm not gonna understand it, and I'm sure that I will. But for some reason I have this like slight hesitation. But this is a series that is so beloved and so popular among like proper fantasy readers, and I know a lot of people have read the series and absolutely loved it. I like that the font is very bold. Like, I don't know if you can tell. Let me compare it to like a normal book. Can you see like how dark and bold the font is? I hope that makes it like easier to read, like easier on my eyes. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, I've got so many series. I'm overwhelmed and it's all my fault. Anyways, let's choose the next book. Number 6. How many books do I have so far? I've got 4 books. Okay, number 6. I'm either gonna pick out 8 or 9 books. I'm not sure. I'm really happy I got a book like this. I feel like it's different to my other books. I have The Painter by Will Davenport. This is a secondhand book, so I'm sure you can tell by how yellow it is. I saw this book. It called my name. I was in this secondhand bookshop in a town further away from where I live, like this really cute surfer hippie sort of town, and I stumbled upon this bookshop. And then this book was just like staring at me, and it really called my name. And when I read the back of this book, I knew that this book was meant to find me. I just think I'm gonna really love it so much. I could be wrong, but let me just read the back of it for you. So this is a book that sort of flips between different timelines, past and present. And I am someone that loves art. And I love art history, and I love like books about poets or artists. Like, it just, I don't know why, it's something that really calls me. And initially this book starts off in 1662. Rembrandt, you know, the very famous author of Rembrandt, Yeah. Rembrandt, he is bankrupt and drunk, and he stows away on a boat for Hull in the UK. To pay his passage for this boat, he must paint the captain's portrait. But for himself, he paints the captain's beautiful wife, hoping to seduce her as he has many times before for other people. But Rembrandt has a rival, and this rival is none other than the poet Andrew Marvell. Now, I actually don't know this poet Andrew Marvell, but I did look him up, and this is a real person. And it says, will a poem or a portrait win the favor of the captain's passionate and scheming wife? So this bitch, no, love her, I don't know who she is, married to the captain, but she has like a secret love affair going on with Rembrandt, the painter, and what's his name? And Andrew Marvell, the poet. And then hundreds of years later, so we're going into the future now, Amy Dale, who is a painter, she discovers the traces of Rembrandt and Marvell's artistic duel. And she also finds the captain's wife's secret journal. And Amy keeps this journal, and she gets drawn into the new triangle of deceit and seduction. Doesn't that sound so interesting? Is it just me, guys? Please tell me you also think this sounds interesting. Right, let's pick out the next book. Number 17. Okay. This feels heavy. Why does this feel so... Is this a hardback? Like, this feels like an extra heavy book. This book was heavy, of course. So we have Before We Were by Monique Medved. This is an indie published romance, contemporary romance, but it sounds like there's a lot of like depth to this book, because in the beginning of it, I do believe there was content warnings. If I'm not, yeah, there is some content included in here, which the author has told us about. This book is set in the early 2000s. It's also written by an indie published author based in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. And it's about these two people that fall in love when they're young. And I believe it's like childhood best friends to lovers. And it's them navigating life together. And I think they sort of fall apart and come back together. There's just something about a book where it focuses on two characters who've known each other for a long time. And they sort of weave in and out of each other's lives. And I don't know, I just love it, but they have like this connection that always brings them back together. I find it so beautiful. This is also a dual point of view book, and I've seen direct quotes from this book on the author's Instagram, and as I was reading it, and also just like the setting that she set up for this book, like go on her Instagram. I'm gonna tag her Instagram down below just so you can get like a glimpse of it yourself. She sold me. And I was like, this just sounds so good. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book, and I think I might annotate and underline it. Maybe. I think I'll do 2 more and then we'll call it a day. So this is a very thin book. I know what this is. I didn't read it in my July TBR. I'm pretty sure this is Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. Yes, okay, I'm gonna definitely read it this month then. We have another literary fiction. And this one sounds really good. I've already talked about it before, but I will talk about it just in case you've never seen my videos before. This is also a literary fiction, but it's based around music, and it just sounds so good. It's based around music, and of course, these two people that are like sort of in love, not really, I don't know. Let me read the back of it for you. So it says, the first time that Joey plays Percy one of his songs in his college room in 2000, she instantly realizes 3 things. Number 1, she is watching a star in the making. Number 2, she can shape his music into something extraordinary. And number 3, she will always be on the sidelines. She swallows her jealousy and throws herself into collaboration, transforming Joe's songs into indie hits with her blistering critiques. But there is an undercurrent to the music that they're making, something undeniably electric. Something that feels like love. As he steps into the spotlight, can she bear to watch on in silence? And can he exist there without her? It just sounds so much more interesting because there's the element of music and career and sort of power involved. You know, like he really only made it that far and became a star through her helping him with his music. Like he was already talented as it was, but she did help him reach those heights. I just find it really interesting because it's like, you know, he does need her, but then I'm sure there's gonna come a point where he might not need her anymore. I don't know. I'm very, very much looking forward to reading this book. Right, I think we'll choose our last book. Number 15. Guys, I did peek in this one. I can't even explain to you how excited I am. If it's what I think it is. This is also one of the books I got recently. We have Rose and Chains by Julie Soto. This book has been blowing up recently, and guys, this is based off a Hermione fanfiction. I'm not sure which one. I don't think it's Manacles. I think it's a different one called The Auction. I'm not sure. I think I've already spoken about it before. I loved Hermione. Hermione was my ultimate favorite like ship. Like I was obsessed with Hermione. I would read so much Hermione fanfiction when I was younger. It would sicken you if I told you. Like, I don't know why. I was just obsessed with the idea of Draco and Hermione being together. There was just something so like romantic about it for me. I don't know. So when I heard that this is either based off a Hermione fanfiction, it's either based off a Hermione fanfiction where she just changed the names and published it as a book, or it's been inspired by a Hermione fanfiction. Oh, guys, this has received praise from big authors. It's received praise from Rebecca Ross, who wrote Divine Rivals. It also got praise from Stephanie Garber, who wrote the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And it also has praise from Jodi Picoult, which is a huge author. What the hell? Wow. It says he's her greatest enemy and her deepest desire. That's just so Hermione in a nutshell. I don't know what to read first. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like my TBR is looking stacked with books that I'm like really looking forward to reading. And of course I want to read all of these books, but there's just something about this TBR that's like really doing it for me. That is my TBR for August. I'm really, really excited. Don't worry. I was gonna say there's actually another book I have to read, which I'm gonna add to my TBR. I have to read Inferno. I don't have to read it. I want to read it. I want to read Inferno by Dan Brown because Inferno is set in Florence, and I'll be in Florence early September, so in just over a month. And something about Dan Brown's books that is so much fun. You learn a lot about like really cool, interesting facts that you wouldn't otherwise know about art pieces or art history or architecture. And the one that I read, I forgot where he said it. I think it was set in Rome. He talks about like all these cool secret things that you wouldn't know in really famous Rome monuments and art and stuff. And so for this one to be set in Florence, and I know for a fine fact he's going to be talking about like Renaissance art pieces and like things to look out for and really cool stuff like that. So then when I read it, I'm going to take down notes, and then when I go to Florence and I visit these art galleries, I'm going to like look out for the things that he's talked about. It's going to be such a fun reading experience. But yeah, that is my TBR for August. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!